/ waiver wire. Since we switched it, we haven't updated that yet, but it is desperate time for desperate players and waiver wire pickups. We're going to go ahead and start at the quarterback position, if there are any.
Quarterbacks were I was very unimpressed by everything I found out there. Anybody who was rostered less than 50% either had a really bad matchup coming up, or I just don't trust them. So the one that I feel the most comfortable with at this point was Mariota. He's been stringing together decent games if you're stringing a quarterback. Let's see what they got. They got Chicago this week. Mariota's at 44%. Chicago is like they're like the anti-Denver. Denver boycotted touchdowns on both sides of the ball. Chicago welcomes touchdowns on both sides of the ball. And I think Mariota will have a pretty decent day this week. And he's going to have to throw the ball. His best game this year was against Atlanta, and they had to throw the ball. They got into a shootout in the fourth quarter and overtime of that game, and I think he's going to have to do that to keep up with Fields this week. So I will go with Mariota.
Yeah, it's pretty much it's really. The only one I have is Baker. He should be starting this week. PJ Walker's hurt. They have a good matchup against Baltimore. Baltimore's been giving up a lot of air yards. He knows Baltimore very well, playing for Cleveland. That's about all I got for you, though.
Baker's not out with the concussion.
No, because he was
headbutt all
headbutting
those guys with helmets on.
I mean, Danny Dimes is at 65% owned. He's got a good matchup against Detroit. But yeah, that's about it.
The one I almost looked at was
Matt Ryan's out there, but he's got a bad matchup. I know he had a good week this week.
Oh, of course. At 21.1% rostered, your heir apparent, sir. What do you think?
Who? Sorry, my mic keeps cutting in and out.
Kenny Pickett. What do you think? I was looking at the schedule. You guys have Cincinnati, at Indy, at Atlanta over the next 3 weeks. Cincinnati's secondary has not been as good going through the year.
Cincinnati's secondary is all hurt. That's why.
Awuzie is gone. What do you think? Yeah.
Much better than whatever we got going on.
I think the matchups are favorable for sure. It's just
you wouldn't start him against the Bengals?
No, I'm saying they are favorable. I think the matchups are favorable for Kenny Pickett. I think it's good. I think they're all good matchups the next 3 weeks. It's
the offensive coordinator sucks.
That's the problem.
The what?
The offensive coordinator sucks. So
don't expect anything crazy.
Give what you can. I mean, there was a pass in the Steelers game to Najee on like a wheel route. That was an absolute dime by Kenny Pickett. Hit Najee in the hands. He dropped it, but Kenny is very good. He's gonna be good. We just need some better play calling.
Heard. What do you think there, Dalton?
I mean, it's not a bad option, but like Sid said, until they replace that coordinator, Kenny Pickett's not going to thrive in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think about Tannehill for the next couple weeks?
I looked at it, and I hated it.
I don't mind it. Like, Green Bay's defense isn't much to talk about, let's be honest. There's a lot of injuries. The Bengals have a weak secondary. And then, yeah, the Eagles will be difficult, but then you have the Jags after that.
There's one problem. For a quarterback to get points, he has to throw the ball to a
That's where I was going to go. What receivers does he have? Exactly.
Burks came back, He at least put up 19 points, and we're talking about a streaming option.
100%.
Yeah.
So did Kenny Pickett. and that's
Yeah.
I like Pickett more.
There's one league where I have Gino and Trevor Lawrence, and they're both on a bye this week. And I'm like, well, I don't think I'm going to play quarterback this week, I guess. Because I also have Travis Etienne, Christian Kirk in that league. So fun.
I looked at Tannehill. I really wanted to believe, but I don't trust it because, like you said, they have a great schedule going forward if they had weapons to throw the ball to. I think Treylon Burks is supposed to be back at practice this week.
He came back. I think he had like 4 targets or something.
Did he play this last week?
Yeah, he played.
Wow,
Yep.
I missed that.
That's all right. You had a rough week.
I think Tannehill missed him too.
A little bit.
But I mean, he went 19 for 36, 255 yards, and that was against a very, very solid Denver defense. So, like I said, I just don't trust their passing attack, but it's a great schedule.
That's about it for quarterbacks, though. You got any quarterbacks?
No. I hate them all.
They all stink.
Let's go
That's
to.
normally I was like, no, I hate everybody on the waiver.
Do you got running backs or receivers next, David?
I think we both want to talk about receivers because running backs are pretty boring this week.
That is a fact.
All the fireworks are over there in the receivers, so I will cede to you, sir, and let you go.
I have a receiver.
Oh. Go ahead.
Oh!
Everyone should go get Watson because apparently he knows how to play football now. And he's like really good. And
Christian Watson.
he's available in like every league.
He's only rostered in
It was
7.
the Cowboys, okay? He's not going to keep doing it.
Our defense is good. It's
I've been
supposed
saying
to be.
all season that Aaron Rodgers has been saying this dude is a freak. He's an alien. He's literally somebody he's never had before. Like his skill set is insane. Like
Well, that's ridiculous.
Aaron Rodgers has been
after
talking it
having
up. It's
Devontae
just like,
Adams that
when is it gonna
say
pop? When is
that.
it gonna pop? When is it gonna pop? And it popped.
He finally got him.
Let's get into this. Yes.
There we go,
Yay,
Nicole.
Nicole.
We talked about it. What up, Nicole? We talked about it early in the season. We've talked about this receiving core a couple times. AA Ron goes on the McAfee show every week, which Sid listens to religiously. And what did I tell you on Sunday when I was at your house, Sid? I was facing a horrible dilemma that morning as to who to pick up, and it was between 2 players. Either I go get Dulcich, because I don't trust Freiermuth completely, or I go get Christian Watson, who I've been looking at for the last couple weeks, but he can't get healthy. And Aaron Rodgers, as we've talked about numerous times, Aaron Rodgers hates kids, he hates puppies, he hates everything
Good.
that everyone loves. So
He likes a lot of stuff you like, actually, so you better calm down.
Yeah, he's like a weird hippie. And
So
I
much
love
hate.
that.
Exactly.
No, I like low key really like. Aaron Rodgers is arrogant. I think every time he talks, I'm like, oh, you need to shut up. But then he does like his weird hippie stuff. And I'm like, oh, I just love him. I love to hate him.
It's a love-hate relationship.
So,
100%.
so my question and my criticism here, I've been saying all year that I do think this is Aaron Rodgers' fault. Because he's a jerk to these young rookie receivers. He's not nurturing. He's not developing them. He's literally going out and talking trash about them to the media. That's not how you bring a young player up, in my opinion. And I do think that the issues they've had this year with the lack of connection between him and some of these younger players is his fault. I think he proved it this week because all year, when one of these kids makes a horrible drop, he won't go back to them. Christian Watson had a huge drop in this game, very early on. Huge drop. But because Aaron Rodgers had absolutely no other options in this game, what did he do? He went back to him, and the kid started catching the ball. So, Dalton, what do you think? Is this kid the truth? Is this the next budding relationship, or is he going to get mad at Christian Watson next week and then put him in the corner for a week or two?
I think he's starting to realize that he can't put him in the doghouse anymore because he doesn't have any options anymore. Like, seriously, what are we talking about here? Dubs is hurt, which that's not good because he was starting to trust him a lot because he had been throwing to him even though he was dropping the passes. So, but Watson he's a freak, and David leaves because we're talking about the Packers.
Pain. He just goes pain.
I think David.
I'm right here. I'm just crying.
I think David reads headlines and doesn't listen to Rodgers, and Rodgers has never talked crap about his receivers. He's holding them accountable. Now, what Tom Brady does on the sidelines to his teammates, that's a little different.
Have you ever seen Tom Brady go in and talk to the media and say that the people who are on the field aren't performing, so maybe they shouldn't be on the field?
Including myself, yeah.
Talking about
That's what he
his
said.
young receivers.
Get
No,
the whole
Tom
quote
Brady-
in there. Hey, if you're going to read the quote, read the whole quote at least, because he says, including myself, sir. So if you're going to just take Cliff Notes, Mr. Cliff Notes, sir, and cherry pick stats, Mr. Cherry Pick Statter, like you love to say that, right? Go ahead and get the whole thing next time you're talking about Rodgers.
It's a well-known fact that he doesn't get along with rookies and young players. I'm not making this up. This isn't headline cherry picking. This is Dalton, correct me if I'm wrong.
Has he had issues in the past? Yes. Is he an arrogant asshole? Yes. Is he still going to do his
four-time
job
MVP
with the
that
receivers? Yes.
Is he being forced to change his ways right now because I think more than puppies and children, he hates losing more.
Yes.
Well, I'm pretty
I
sure we
just
all.
like-
He's the one
I
making the adjustment.
Think that any Packers player in like the history of ever has ever come out and said like, yeah, I just hated playing with Aaron Rodgers. He was such a jerk to me. So I don't know. Like
It's- not everybody can be Tom Brady and just go get all pros to learn to play with and like just get one after the other when like one gets hurt. Sometimes you have to build a relationship with the young guy and you got to hold them accountable, which is important for young people. And just because you're holding them accountable doesn't mean you're talking shit about them. That's a difference.
First, you build trust. Then you can hold accountable. And as the veteran, it's his job to build that trust, build that relationship. That's not the rookie's job. And as someone who manages
two-time reigning
people,
MVP.
Thank you.
and yes, and it's his
They
job to
need
build the
to adapt to
relationship.
him.
I agree.
I completely disagree.
There's two
These kids are
preseason
trying
games.
to learn the game. These kids are trying to learn the game.
Yes, and he only gets 2 preseason games with them, half an off season, because the rookies do their own thing. Like, it's like we got to learn now because we got to win now. So, like, you better pick it up quick or I have to go somewhere else. I have to win. Like, it's not it's okay. I know we didn't get it this time. Maybe next week. Oh, you had another rough one? Okay, it's all right. We'll bounce back. No, it's a win now league. You have to win now. You got to be held accountable.
His petty ass.
He doesn't have a veteran.
When one of
receiver
them
to lean
dropped
on.
the ball, no, when one of them would drop a ball, he wouldn't go back to him for 2 quarters. That's
Good.
petty. That's petty.
When a running
How do
back fumbles in any offense, they get benched for 2 quarters. Like,
Any offense?
do your
No.
job.
False.
Most offenses.
And fumbling the football and dropping a pass are worlds apart. So don't even go there. One's a turnover, and one is, okay, line up, run the next play.
If it's on 3rd down, it's a turnover. Essentially, you lost. You got a punt now. Anyway, did you see the JJ Watt on Hard Knocks? Just the clip. Rondale Moore comes over to him, and he's like,
I asked you if you saw that. Get out of
exactly. And what does JJ
That's
say?
a leader. That's a leader.
Hey, that sucks. It's kind of your whole job. Catch the ball next time. JJ Watt's not a dick.
Way to edit out the entire rest of the video. He was cracking a joke. Lifted the kid's chin up, pat him on the head, and he was like, dude, it's okay, man. Don't get down on yourself.
And
He goes,
Rondale's
is it
a
Sunday?
senior.
What did he say to him? He said, is it Sunday or is it Tuesday? Get out there, catch the next ball. And
how do you know that's not what Rodgers does in practice? You're seeing what
Because
Rodgers
you-
does in the game.
stop.
On
Don't
Sunday.
even try and sit here and tell me that Aaron Rodgers is this nurturing veteran who just brings
I
the
never
kids
said that.
in and teaches
I
them the
never
way like J.J. Watt. All right?
I never
No,
said
the problem. Yeah, don't even equate the two. Anyway, that is way too much Aaron Rodgers talk for
We got a
my
Packers
stomach
game on
to
here. We had
handle. God. All right, moving on from Christian
All I was
Watson.
trying to say was that Christian Watson looked good. and
Anyway,
that you
pick
should
up
him
Christian
up.
Watson because he is the truth.
That's all I was trying to say.
Okay, wait. Are we all in agreement?
Donovan Peoples-Jones. That's my next one. That's all I got, though.
Who is?
Donovan Peoples-Jones was their second one.
Okay, so we were all in agreement, though. Christian Watson is probably the number one waiver pickup at any position for this week.
100%.
Okay,
100%.
and Peoples-Jones.
It's another good one.
It is a good one. It's layered. It's layered, though. I'm scared of that one. Anybody want to go first, or you want me to jump in?
Watson should be back soon, too.
That's the only thing. I'd wait to be for sure when Watson comes back.
But I think he's doing pretty good without even Watson.
He's been very quietly, very, very efficient. Let me pull it up.
He's not
My
even-
one. Go ahead if anybody wants to jump in.
That's all I got on Peoples-Jones. Yeah, he's rostered in exactly half of leagues, but he's had 10 points or more
Mhm.
all but 3 games this year.
I think it
So-
only goes up when Watson comes back. He's
Very
been doing
consistent.
okay good. I Landry did pretty good, and with Michael Thomas being out for the foreseeable future, he was another one that I liked too.
Any more you want to rattle off?
What up, Nicole?
No, I think
Okay,
that's
so-
it.
I really love what Peoples-Jones has been doing over there. Here's my concern. At Buffalo, at home against Tampa Bay, at Houston, at Cincinnati, Baltimore, New Orleans, and Washington.
I don't know what happened.
I think
Houston, as terrible as they are against the run, is actually decent against the pass. I was looking it up earlier today. I think they've given up. I think they're in like the top 3 of the fewest completions allowed.
Derek Stingley Jr., their rookie cornerback, is really good.
Mhm.
Obviously at Buffalo, at home against Tampa, at Houston. Those are your next 3 weeks. Watson comes back for the Houston game. All eyes on Watson. We'll see there. He may blow the doors off that stadium and just come out and want to light them up. Who knows? He may not even be in football shape for all we know. So I'm worried about Peoples-Jones. But he has been very, very consistent over the last, 4 or 5 weeks. So that's a coin flip for me. What do you guys think?
I think the benefit of Peoples-Jones is Amari Cooper is going to get a lot of the attention. The running back's going to get a lot of attention. He's kind of the forgotten. We might have lost the internet there for a minute. Can you hear us?
I can hear
Sorry,
you.
did you lose?
Where'd Dalton go?
Man, we lost Dalton. Can you hear me? Oh, I don't know. Our thing froze for a minute. I don't know if we lost him or. Anyway, he's just far enough down on the depth chart to get the second or third cornerback, the single coverage all the time. You're gonna shade to Amari's side. You're gonna load the box for Chubb. It just leaves him on an island a lot. So that's a really big benefit for him going forward, and it shouldn't change, just barring an injury. So that's the only thing I have about him. Who else you got?
All right. I love it. I love it. So Jeff Saturday just opened up career opportunities for just the entire world, the entire NFL community. If you've ever watched a football game, if you liked football when you were younger and kind of got out of it, if you sit around like us nerds and just talk about football every week, you too have a chance to be able to become a head coach in the NFL. And wow, just wow. In 1 week, the Colts became what the Colts were in the first couple weeks of the year before whatever psychedelic drugs were introduced into the water system at that facility. I don't know. I don't know what happened over there, and I don't care because Jeff Saturday is here to fix it. Jonathan Taylor, he gets to run the ball. Matt Ryan, he gets to throw the ball.
He gets to run the ball.
I think it definitely puts Pittman back where he was earlier in the year rather than this nonsense with Ellinger and the new offensive coordinator and all this I think Paris Campbell.
I think Paris Campbell goes
probably.
back up.
I think Paris Campbell will probably take the jump over Alec Pierce because Paris Campbell had success with Matt Ryan earlier in the year. And then we kind of started looking at Alec Pierce when he had that big game. I think out of everybody over there, Paris Campbell gets the biggest jump. He's at 28% rostered over in Sleeper, and I think good things are ahead for him.
Yeah, I'm annoyed because I'm pretty sure I dropped him in some leagues. So I was like, if this is the way the Colts are going to go, I'm done with the Colts. And then now they have this game, and I'm like, now Matt Ryan's back, and Matt Ryan likes Campbell, it seems. He targets him a lot. And I'm like, you're joking, right? Like, this is not happening. The Jeff Saturday hiring, though, man, that's caused a lot of stir in the NFL world. I don't mind it. I just hope, let's just keep that same energy for when other people get hired that we're not like, what are their credentials? Well, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. So, like, if women get hired, just keep that same energy.
I love it. I've been hearing it from analysts, so many analysts and podcasters for the last couple of days. They're just like, guys, you realize this means we got a shot, right?
I don't mind it necessarily.
I'm not sure.
I just want to keep the same energy.
I'm not sure how many people off the street, podcasters, anything like that, played 14 years in the NFL, have a couple Super Bowl rings.
I know.
Played with Peyton Manning. I mean, he's got a little bit of credentials, I would say.
No, the man balled out, and I actually had that written down to call out Sean Spencer and Bobby Wills for being just absolutely way off the mark on Sunday. Bobby came in. Bobby was big mad about Jeff Saturday accepting the offer and Jim Irsay for offering it. And Sean was like, if you offered me a lot of money to go coach, I'd be like, let me make sure the check clears, but I'll be there. But the man has pedigree, and like you just said, he was part of a winning culture. His personal accolades aside, he won a Super Bowl. He's been there. He knows what it takes to get there. So I was not mad about this. And to be honest, they've been trying to get him in as an offensive line coach for years.
He's been a
and they
consultant
couldn't.
to the team.
What's up?
He's been a consultant to the team, the last couple of years. So it's not like he's not in the building.
But they tried to get him as an offensive line coach, and he said no. He has been working with the team and involved with the organization. But I think what he saw this year pushed him over the edge. I guarantee you, he kicked some door open in the front office and said, "What in the hell are you doing?" And I think that's what led to this. They wanted him in a larger role for a long time. And I'm happy he got the shot. I am. But I think it'll be good things for everybody in that offense.
Yeah, the other thing, he was the president of the NFL Players Association during the lockout, and he's the one that helped end the lockout. So, he's a very intelligent.
I did not know that.
Yep, very involved. He was a guest on the Pat McAfee show on Monday, and he said,
"Of course he was."
So, just to give you an idea, a background, Irsay called him and offered him the job.
Is McAfee going to be the new offensive coordinator?
That's what they said. Well, so Pat said everybody thought when they hired Jeff, because Pat defended Jeff obviously, because he played for the Colts, he loves anybody Colts related. He was like, everybody that thinks we hired Jeff Saturday to tank is hilariously wrong, because if they wanted to tank, they would have hired me as head coach. And like, that's
Do you think this is a long-term hire though? Because in my mind, like, I feel like there was a conversation between Jeff Saturday and, you know, the owner and the GM and whatnot. And I do think that Jeff Saturday, I don't think that he had head coaching aspirations.
Yeah,
I kind of feel like this might have a clock on it, where he's like, no, I will handle this until you guys find somebody better.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think that I would agree with that. I don't know, because he, like you said, they've been trying to get him on a coaching position for like a while now, and he's like, no. I don't think he wants that lifestyle. I know he has like his own family, he has kids and things. Like from what I've seen just on the internet, it just seems like I don't know that he would drop everything he has going for him to pick up like that coaching lifestyle and like do that long term. But I'm sure he was like, what the hell are we doing? We're not doing this anymore. Like, something's got to give. And if you need me to step in and take control of it for a minute until, you guys can figure it out, I'm down to do that, because this is not okay what we're doing right now.
So it's funny. He actually said that Irsay called him. He didn't even know that he was on the radar for the head coaching job. But Jim Irsay, the owner of the Colts, called him and asked him if he wanted to be the head coach.
Connections matter.
What up, Bobby?
Also, too, I saw a lot of people that are like, I can't believe he took that position. There is never a time in my career that I've been offered a promotion and I've been like, even in my mind, I'm like, I don't know if I'm qualified for that. I am not going to say no. It's a pay raise. It's a step up. And are you going to be like, no, I'd rather just stay right where I'm at down here. Not like, no, like there's not any time I'm going to be like, yeah, I don't think I'm qualified for that. No. No, I'm just going to try to step up and do it. Unless it's going to hurt people in the process, then you shouldn't do it. But I think people are kind of ridiculous being like, he should have said no. Why would you say no?
I will say, in Bobby's defense, I did just remember the term, legal tanking came up. So in that light, if the Colts were just trying to tank and Saturday took the job and didn't intend to do it the right way, then I would agree with that. But that's not what I'm saying, and I don't think that the Saturday would do that with his connection to that franchise.
I think he has too much respect for the franchise and too much he's really devoted to that franchise just to go in there and be like, this is going to be terrible. Let's just lose.
I think he gets a lot of respect from the players. I think because he's been around. He was a Colt a long time. He's he seems like a really good leader, a great speaker. They are responding to him well, so I can very well see them. The talent's there, so it's just a matter of the players performing and being up to task. And for Sean, he's asking about if they can maintain this, go on a playoff run. I'm not sure they make the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to lay down for anybody for the rest of the season. We see it all the time. When players want to play for their coach for whatever reason, whatever it is, they rally together and they go on some special runs. When the Colts before, when Chuck Pagano was their coach and he got diagnosed with cancer, he had to step away from the team. They had an interim head coach. Granted, it was Bruce Arians, pretty good guy. He stepped in, and it was Chuck Strong for the rest of the season. And the Colts went on an insane run being Chuck Strong. And it's just, if you can get behind something to motivate you going forward, it goes a long way when everybody is very talented already. So
well, that's with anything too. If you like your boss, if you respect the person you're working for, if my 6-year-olds in my class respect me, they'll want to do the work for me. If you respect your coach, you'll want to do the work for them. I even think with Kenny Pickett and Mitchell Trubisky, if you respect your quarterback, you want to play harder for them. So,
100%.
If they respect him, they're obviously going to go out there and try to play harder.
For sure. I think they do have a playoff caliber team. They dug themselves a hole, but I think they can get out of it. We'll see though.
What their schedule looks like. What is their division looking like too?
It's the Jags, the Titans, and the Texans. So it's like a wide open division.
Yeah, if they could go on a win streak here, it's not
100%.
over yet.
100%. All right, back to
I
fantasy.
That's not
completely agree with all that.
but that's been big news. I mean, it's fantasy relevant because I mean, Campbell, who I was ready to drop and never look back at again, I'm now like, wait, come back.
So, I guess, what we're here to talk about, fantasy-wise, who do you? I would say give me your 1, 2, 3 from that offense. Who you think is going to get the biggest bump? Obviously, there's been a lot of disappointment over there this year. What 3 players, and in what order do you think this changes the rest of their fantasy season?
I think Jonathan Taylor gets turned around for him. I mean, if you're just talking like waiver pickups, like lower on the totem pole, that's a different story.
No,
but like,
everybody. Because, I mean, Taylor's been a disappointment
100%.
a lot of the year, too. So I guess when looking at this organization, just anybody top to bottom on the field, who do you think improves the most?
I think it's Jonathan Taylor, Paris Campbell, and then Michael Pittman Jr.
That's what I would say too.
in that order.
I would also say.
I completely agree. I'm still holding out hope for Matty Ice. I think it's interesting that he got the job back with zero notice like he did. And I wonder if that was a culture building move or if that was a football move. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Saturday trying to get the locker room back. Like, look, this man has been in this league for a long time. He knows what he's doing. We're going to go with the more experienced player.
Mm-hmm.
Sam, you need more time with the clipboard. Or if it really was that they have zero faith in Ellinger to be able to improve. One is good for Matt, one's not. So I don't know. We'll see that going forward. But they do have a rough schedule. I looked at Matty Ice for waivers, and I did not like what I seen. So
that.
Yeah,
what up, Anthony?
To answer Sean's questions, I wouldn't trust Matt Ryan too much. I think they're going to lean heavily on the run game still. Same with Alec Pierce. Matt Ryan seems to have a connection with
I'm real sad. I had a trade lined up for Jonathan Taylor 2 weeks ago with Steven. Had I known Jeff Saturday was going to take the job.
I don't know, it's 1 week too. I'm curious to see how this goes
against
forward.
the down in the dumps Raiders team too. So, yeah, I'm not putting all my eggs in that basket yet. So, in anyone there really.
Maybe the Raiders. You know who else needs a new coach? The Raiders. They should go pick someone up off the streets too.
They said they already that McDaniels is guaranteed through next year.
What? That is the dumbest. I'm all for like coaches need time, but come on, you have all the talent in the world on that offense, and you can't get anything moving. They are significantly worse this year than last year, and they got more pieces on their team. You got Devontae Adams. What are you doing? Oh, that's silly. That's also not fantasy related, but.
You got any more wide receivers?
I got a few. I was going to rattle some off.
Dang.
And then some to avoid as well. Kadarius ride that pony Tony.
Oh my goodness. Magic Grace Field.
He's a little over 50%, but if he is available, go get that man because he is going to be a fantasy winner the rest of the season. If you can get him.
Anthony.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sid, real quick. To everybody watching on Facebook and YouTube, if you guys have any start sit questions or any questions about the trade deadline in most fantasy leagues this week, make sure you get them in the comments, and we'll do our best to get through them. Go ahead, sir.
You see what Anthony said?
What?
You see what Anthony said?
No.
He
Careful.
said don't get any other streams suspended.
Yeah, for real.
Oh,
I got it back, by the way.
I got Sydney banned on TikTok because I cussed out Devontae Smith.
Yeah, I got banned for bullying and harassment because she's in the background yelling at Devontae Smith while we watched the game yesterday.
He lost me money.
Oh my
It
God.
was supposed
Yeah.
to be Miles Sanders. It was
Never
Anyway.
spite Ash.
Yeah,
Never.
literally. So Kadarius Toney, he's the only one I like. There's like 4 I'm going to tell you to stay away from that are popular right now. Van Jefferson, Ben Skowronek. They're both being picked up in a lot of leagues due to the Cooper Kupp news. I would avoid it. Skowronek over Van if you're going to go anybody, but I would stay away. That offense is in shambles.
Watch Allen Robinson just go.
He's going to be the number 1. I don't trust anybody else.
Too.
Darius Slayton is a very hot topic right now because he had his Darius Slayton game of the year. He does this every year where he has one good game, and goes bananas. Don't even worry about it. Don't pick him up. He's not going to be the guy.
I saw him trending up. I'm like, he got you. He got you.
Nick Westbrook-Ikhine for the Titans. He's the one that kind of actually had a good game out of all the receivers. I don't trust the offense too much. I don't trust Tannehill too much. We talked about that earlier. Again, he's another one that's trending up. I would just avoid. And then last, Kendall Hinton, the Denver receiver. He's trending up due to the Jerry Jeudy news. That offense, again, another one that's in shambles. Can't score touchdowns. I would avoid.
Like Jerry Jeudy.
I wouldn't worry about picking him up at all. Those are a lot of the popular ones that I say now.
Skowronek, I 100% echo your statement. That's exactly my thought on that situation. I did talk about Van Jefferson, I think it was like 3 weeks ago, as he was coming back, hoping to see if he could, fight for that number 2 spot against Allen Robinson. But Skowronek has been there. He's had a huge snap count a lot of the year. I definitely think that he is probably the more reliable way to go there.
Van Jefferson didn't look good the last game either. He had a good drop too.
When these guys come back from injury, everybody's like, "Oh yeah, they're back 100%." He's been gone for how long?
Awesome.
You don't just
and their offense
you don't
is
step
very
back.
meh.
The only other thing I have to add would be DeAndre Carter. If you are a Mike Williams and or Keenan Allen owner, that game is going to be played on Sunday night, which means if they don't play, the only options you will have are the unknown options from San Fran and Arizona, who play on Monday night. So if you have better options, I would obviously sit those other guys, Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, because that's a risk you don't want to take. However, if you can manage to snag DeAndre Carter, it could be a solid fill-in for the Sunday night game. It's all about what your roster is looking like. I don't think it's something I would chase unless I'm a Mike Williams or Keenan Allen owner, and I want to try and start either one of those guys, but I can't risk being left empty-handed if they don't play. So.
Just if you have Keenan Allen, just expect him not to play, and if he does, expect him to do bad.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? There's only one thing that Keenan Allen is better at than being an NFL wide receiver, and what is it? It's
pissing me off every week.
NFL wide receiver.
I was doing so
I warned
good.
you.
I had Mike Williams in the league, and I was doing so good. I was winning every week, and then since he got hurt, I've lost every single week. I hate Chargers receivers.
All right. I think that wraps it up for receivers, right? Do you have any other?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to go just run off your running backs that you have, if any? I'll respond and then run my tight ends, and then you respond, and then Ash throws in all the ones that we missed.
Nicole has a question.
So I was definitely on the Jalen Warren train. We already talked about that. I was kind of interested what your take was. A lot of whispers out there about them sitting Najee at some point this year if it gets out of hand, in which case he could become a starter. Jerick McKinnon. They keep saying Pacheco's the starter. Pacheco hasn't really. He has not performed. And guess what? The kid put the ball on the ground again this week. So Jerick McKinnon, I think, could be a solid place filler to get through a bye week. He's not somebody I'm going to rely on for the rest of the year. But the whole Pacheco thing has been interesting. Kyren Williams, very similar to the Najee situation. What the hell else do they have to lose? Give the kid a shot, see what he can do. Nothing over there is working right now. And they're talking about Cam Akers again. That's how desperate they are for a running back. So
I can't stand any of those guys.
Yeah, and I saw you picked up Kyren Williams in one of our leagues. Good job.
I'm gonna have to start him this week because I don't have anybody else.
I wouldn't sit on him for too long. If you do go get him, see what happens this week. If nothing happens, I would be just fine parting ways and going after something else. And then Eno Benjamin went from starter to, commuter. He got kicked, and Houston picked him up. Houston, obviously, they don't need a starting running back. However, it's not like they have a passing attack. So I can see Eno getting some work over in Houston. Honestly, I would probably drop him. He's at 47%, but I think that's because people have yet to be able to wrap their head around the fact that he was dropped and then claimed off waivers, and now he's in Houston.
I dropped him. Well, I'm in the process of dropping him.
I had him listed for waivers because he had been released, and then so I went to Houston, and I'm like, I don't know about that. But the one real fun one could be Treston Ebner over in Chicago because Khalil Herbert just went on the IR about 2 hours, maybe 3 hours before the show started. So David Montgomery is the lead back. When Ebner filled in for Montgomery behind Herbert earlier this year, he got some rushing work, he got some passing work. None of it was spectacular, but David Montgomery is fragile. So there you go. Those are my running backs.
Yeah, just my response.
Writing a novel over here.
I know. We'll get to that right after. I'm just going to respond to what you just said. I would, avoid Kyren Williams. If they're going back to Cam Akers, that tells you that how everything you need to know about Kyren Williams. Eno Benjamin, Dameon Pierce is the man. The only reason I would pick Eno up is if you have Pierce just as a handcuff, if you want it. What else did you say? I'm trying to think. I'm back off the top of my head. If not, I'll just jump into mine. Isaiah Pacheco, I'd avoid until they actually use him. I don't know why they're not. Right around the 50-60% available or owned is Brian Robinson. Gus Edwards is supposed to be back. And then Rachaad White is at 56% owned. Go get him.
Yeah.
Talking about him for weeks. If he's
Leonard
available.
Fournette is doubtful too. So what league is that?
He's not available. He's available in 56% of all sleeper leagues.
I thought he was available in that league
No.
because I was about to jump over there. Like, wait a minute.
The other running back I wanted to mention that wasn't mentioned is Elijah Mitchell for the Niners. He appears, actually, they said that he is going to split the carries with Christian McCaffrey. It appears the Niners are going to take the safe approach with McCaffrey and not run him into the dirt and get him hurt, which is a good thing, which means Elijah Mitchell is going to get some carries. He was their lead back going into the season. He is a good back. That's my accident for my flashlight on. So if he's available, I don't mind him at all as a streamer or somebody to pick up if you need a running back. That's everything I had. Anything else on running backs, guys?
No.
The Elijah Mitchell thing is hilarious to me because, I mean, we talked about Derrick Henry versus CMC, was it like 3-4 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
And this was my concern, was that he would go somewhere, wouldn't be the whole show, and would lose touches. Your argument was that the touches would be more impactful, and right out of the gate they were, and now they're doing this. So I mean, honestly, from the standpoint of an NFL fan, this makes me so happy.
Yeah.
I want to watch Christian McCaffrey play for a good team for the next 6 years. As a fantasy owner, you got to be, worried. But we'll see how that shakes out.
For sure. Do you want to jump into Nicole's question? She's got a couple.
What's up?
Do you want to jump into Nicole's question and then we'll do tight ends?
Yeah, let's do it.
She's got a couple.
Anthony had a really, really solid.
I read Anthony's. I read Anthony's. He said he's in a league with.
All I know is I want the Christian Okoye side of that. That's all I know. Because that was a bad man. Okay?
Anyway, that's Nicole. Hey, Anthony's got me dying over here. He said, I bought a pair of FUBUs at Walmart last week. This dude. Anyway, where's Nicole's first question? Okay, so right here, I think it is. Is it good to replicate other fantasies?
If you see one working for you.
So like
Okay.
having the
Thinking about
same
that.
players
On multiple teams?
I can speak on this.
Well, it's either good or bad.
Don't do it.
If it's
I-
working for you, do it. That's what you should have prefaced.
Yes.
She drafted all the same players
So
on all her
I'm
leagues.
in like 8 leagues, and in all 8 leagues, I was the number 1 through number 3 pick. Like I was either first, second, or third. Like I was in the top. So I drafted a lot of the same guys because a lot of the same guys were available to me at those picks. I mean, if you like your guys, you like your guys, and you go that way. So now, I mean, I had like Najee in 4 leagues. I have Ezekiel Elliott in multiple leagues. I had the Cam Akers in multiple leagues. So it just stinks that if you do that and then one of those guys gets hurt, now you're Jesus, get out of here, you guys. If you do that,
Bro, the Stephon Marbury's though, hey, these were some kicks back
this
in the
is stupid. I don't even know.
Go get you some Iversons, Anthony.
day. I3s.
I wear Crocs. The only thing that stinks about that is if one of your guys gets hurt and now you're screwed in all your leagues instead of just one of your leagues. So,
Yep.
But the other nice thing about it is that it's easier to track what you're doing when you have kind of the same guys in all your leagues. So
Yeah.
it kind of depends.
If they're doing good, it's good. If
Yeah.
if they're not, it's not.
That's what I'm
To
saying. If
sum
you're
it up.
doing good, you're doing real good. If you're doing not good, you're doing really not good. So
Yeah, the Saints seem to do that. They always get in fights with their receivers. I don't know what's going on there.
My thing is they don't have a lot of options. So what are they doing?
You got Olave, Landry.
Okay, too.
All right, I'm gonna jump in and I'll run off my tight ends. And then you can respond, David. That
But
cool?
Nicole made a good point. The trade deadline is this week, so if you want to make any trades, you better get on them.
That is true.
You
Most
will be able
leagues.
to do that.
In one league I'm in, it was last week. So,
Oh man.
but yes, it is in most leagues. Standard leagues, it's this week.
Pringles, Anthony, Pringles.
Slim Jims.
I don't like
Anyway.
Pringles.
Tight ends. Cole Kmet. He's up there, right at 53% rostered, so right on the fringe. As long as he's healthy, I thought he got hurt there towards the end of the game. If he's healthy, I like Cole Kmet going forward. That offense is just going crazy right now for some reason, out of the blue. They're going to be down a lot because their defense sucks, so they should be throwing it, and it seems like Fields likes him. My next tight end, Jawan Johnson for the Saints. It appears he and Andy Dalton have a little bit of a connection. I like him as a streamer. Trey McBride for the Cardinals since Zach Ertz went down. He's a rookie.
Pain.
Temper your expectations.
Pain.
Just somebody to look out for if you got Zach Ertz.
Pain. Zach Ertz had to be like my most consistent tight end this year. Maybe not the best, but like legit the most consistent, and it is so sad.
And then for the same reasons, Jack Stahl for the Eagles. Dallas Goedert seems to seems like he's going to miss a little bit of time with the shoulder injury, and Jack Stahl is the backup tight end there. And he apparently has played good when he's got the chances this year. The announcers were saying anyway. He usually catches the ball when thrown his way. The Eagles use their tight ends a lot, so he should see some volume with Goddard down. That's what I got for Titans.
The only one you didn't say was Foster Moreau.
Yes, you're right.
Darren Waller's on IR. Foster's out there. He's only owned in 31% of sleeper leagues. Their next 3 weeks are at Denver, at Seattle, at home against the Chargers. Seattle is terrible against tight ends. They're great. They have a great passing defense, but it's mostly on the outside. It's their corners. They're terrible. They force everything to the middle of the field, and they give up big numbers to tight ends. Denver, that's a divisional game, and I can see him laying an egg this week against Denver. But I can also see them bouncing back a little bit after that absolute humiliation that Jeff Saturday dropped on them. So this week against Denver is kind of a toss-up, but I do like the matchups against Seattle and the Chargers.
I didn't know Darren Waller went on IR.
No, that's when you raised.
Yeah.
5 weeks later.
That's
Why
when you
didn't
raised.
you go on
Right
IR
after-
4 weeks ago?
That was the notification you got.
I thought it was just out. I just saw red and just dropped and then walked away.
Renfro and
That's why
Waller went on IR,
draft tight end.
which was also why Mac Hollins did not make my wide receiver list because of Denver and Seattle. I can see Foster Moreau having a decent couple weeks, but I did not like Mac Hollins against the Denver and Seattle defenses. But yeah, poor Las Vegas.
Denver's defense is good.
All right, that's about it for waivers. You got any waivers that we missed? Desperate players, anything like that, David? Ash?
No.
I'm going into another really
Yes,
bad
yes,
bye week.
Anthony. Yes. Komet was the dude that ran the temple in the second Indiana Jones movie. You are most astute. Most astute, Anthony. Yes.
Yep.
Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.